Hi and welcome to Outwell and to the Flagstaff 6A from our air collection. You can see here that it's a tunnel design tent and it's designed to sleep up to 6 people. We have 2 bedrooms across the back, a really good sized living space which is sealed, and then this canopy section at the front, all of which we will show you in detail shortly. But first of all, I want to talk to you about the frame on this tent. So you may have guessed from the collection name that this is an inflatable tent, as it's in our air collection. So you'll find the main body of the tent. We have these tubes that run across the way, which are of course inflatable, and we do then have the steel pole at the front for the canopy. So the idea behind, of course, the airframe is that it's going to allow you to have really quick and easy setup and quick and easy takedown as well. In terms of how it works, the tent does come with a double action hand pump, just like this one here, so it is supplied with this pump. And the double action part just means that every time you pull the handle up and push the handle down, you are inflating these tubes with air. You can keep an eye on the pressure as well, because the pump does have a pressure gauge on top here, so when you're pumping these tubes up you can see the pressure on here, and we would recommend inflating these tubes to 7 psi, which is 0.5 bar. To do it, it's really simple. You'll see just on the side here, each tube has 2 valves on it, one of which says air in and one of which says air out. So to inflate, we simply just need to open up this valve that's under here, which you can see is already open, so that just highlights that it is a one-way valve. So when it's open, no air is going to come out, but obviously once you have inflated it, you would just pop the cap into place. So it's just a case of attaching the pump into here and inflating that tube, and it's really quick and easy to do. As I say, once you've inflated it, you just pop that cap into position, like so. To deflate the tent, really simple. Each tube again has its air out valve, which is just tucked away under here, and it's just a case of turning this valve to the open position, and the air will rush out and the tent will drop down, allowing you then just to roll it up and pop it back into its bag. So as I say, each one of these tubes has these valves on this side here, so really quick and easy to set up and take down. So next, what I'd like to talk to you about is the fly sheet that we're using on here. This is our Outex 4000 material, so this is a really good quality taffeta polyester. We actually have 2 different weights of polyester on here. The roof is actually 150 denier, and all the side panels are 75. So the roof is actually twice as thick, and the reason for that is to make sure that this tent lasts a good long time, because of course this is going to be the area that gets most of the sunlight, so it's very well protected. The fabric is also UV protected as well as that, so as I say, it should last you a good long time, and it's also fire retardant as well. With it being our Outex 4000, it has a hydrostatic head of 4000 millimeters, and we achieve that by fully PU coating the inside of the fly sheet, and then all of the seams on here are fully taped as well, as I say, giving it a hydrostatic head of 4000 millimeters. As I then mentioned, then we have that steel pole for the front canopy area, so really easy just to pop together and slide through there, which gives you that good front area, which we'll see shortly when we go around. You'll see that we're using our classic luminous guy lines all the way around the tent as well, so that's going to allow you to see these a little bit easier when it is that bit more dark outside. And each one of these has its own retainer, so that's what this loop here is for. So when you take the tent down, we can simply just roll the guy line up and pop it into here, so the next time you come to use a tent, those guy lines are going to be really easily accessible. We do also supply this particular tent with our easy pegging system, and that's where we have 3 different types of peg that come with it. So you see here we have these solid steel, good quality anchor pegs, and these would be used on the corners and on the grey pegging points. We have the black plastic pegs for all around the side into the black pegging points, and then we have our luminous peg, of course, to go with our luminous guy lines as well. So the easy pegging system, making sure you get the right peg in the right place. So some other features on the outside here, you can see that we have our air effective ventilation here, so it's a good streamlined and sleek ventilation system. Just under here is where we have a mesh panel allowing air into the tent. You can easily close this down though, just by removing the Velcro tabs and pressing down, but of course to reduce condensation, it is good to leave open like so. So this tent features large tinted windows which serve 2 key functions, one of which is to reflect the sun away from the inside, just keeping you a bit more comfortable. But the second and probably more important one is of course to give much better privacy within the tent as well. So coming around to the front of the tent then, I mentioned there that we do have this canopy. I just want to highlight we have these mud valances at the bottom here, so that's just going to allow water to run down and away from the inside. So the front canopy, of course, gives you a good rain-safe entrance on the side here, on the front rather, where it's covering the front door. And obviously what this is also going to do is give you a little bit of shade or shelter as well. So a good area to be able to sit out if it's really sunny above. The door itself is a good sized D door here, so you can see that it rolls to the side, so nice and easy to open up. And there are two different parts to the door, one of which is of course the outside waterproof door, and the other is a full mesh door which we have rolled away at the moment, which you can just see here. So again, for ventilation, you can close that over whilst leaving the outside door rolled back like this, and it's the same on the side here as well, so you can get really good through ventilation. So then stepping into the tent, what you should be able to see is there's certainly plenty of space in here. We have a good sized table at the moment, a couple of chairs, we have a cupboard in here, and it still feels like there's plenty of space within here. Good head height in here as well, certainly full stand-up height for most people. I'm quite tall at about 1.95 metre, and I can stand up in here, no problem at all. I think the space in here is actually accentuated by the large windows that we have all the way around the tent here. But what we can do is give ourselves a little bit more privacy if we want, because you can just see here that each window has its own curtain, which is just rolled away at the moment. But these can be brought either halfway up or they can be fully closed as well. And then just running along the side here at the top, you'll see the mesh ventilation panels which correspond to the outside panels that I mentioned before. So a really neat feature in here is that this entire area from front to back and side to side is fully sealed. So this ground sheet is actually sewn in, and it's a bathtub style ground sheet, so you can see that it comes up at the edges here. That's going to stop things like dirt, dust and sand coming in, and hopefully keep out those unwanted creepy crawlies as well. As I mentioned, there is a side entrance which you can see here, which does have this mesh door rolled away at the moment. But as I say, you can leave up that outside waterproof door and drop down the mesh door there for great through ventilation. So in the middle of the living area, in a good central location, you'll see here that we have this lantern hanging point just here. So what we then have running both ways from this are cable tidies. The one that comes down this way goes down to a cable entrance point on the side of the tent, and the one that runs down this way actually comes all the way around to the front, where you can see here we have another cable entry point here. So this is a zip, which is just open at the moment, which you can see will allow you to bring your cables from the outside into your tent without actually having to have your door open. And as I say, that will also be able to zip close as well. So at the back of the tent is then where we have our bedrooms, and as I mentioned before, this tent can sleep up to 6 people. A really neat feature of these bedrooms is that they come pre-attached, so that's a job that you don't need to worry about. They're already in place for you. In terms of features, we've got some good ones on here as well, with the handy storage pockets on the outside. The bedroom doors themselves have got these mesh panels again to allow for good ventilation within the bedrooms. And then when we go into the bedroom, you'll also see that we have some more storage pockets, so great for smaller things like phones and chargers and things like that. And then across the back of the tent, you'll just see here we have a large ventilation panel which corresponds to outside ventilation on the fly sheet. Another great feature of the bedrooms is that you have this full sheet of material in the middle here, which does create the 2 bedrooms, but there are zips at the front and at the back of this, so this can be rolled up to then create one large sleeping area at the back. So we have a couple of optional extras available for this particular tent, which would include a fleece carpet for the living space, which you can see in here at the moment, giving a bit more comfort underfoot. There is also a footprint available to go under the tent, which is of course going to keep your ground sheet nice and clean and dry. And there is also an awning available for this tent as well. So there you have it then. That's all the features of the Flagstaff 6A from our Air collection. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, this tent can be inflated using our Typhoon 12-volt compressor pump.